let's talk about happiness. I wanted to talk about anxieties, but you cannot just talk about the negative side of things without understanding why the positive side is better. Now, the one of the things, one of the most beautiful things, like I'm not some monk or someone who thinks that I'm anywhere close to achieving enlightenment or what is the ideal way to it. That also is a big path that I don't think I've stepped on. But happiness, why you need to work on it is something very important. Like we work day to day on daily basis to achieve success in material world. Like we try a lot of things, a lot of achieving, like learning new things, trying to acquire new talent, and eventually something like world has told us that once you reach over here, you'll be happy. And that here, if you go back in time and go back 5 years, you are already there, kind of there. So whatever you wanted to be, there is a good chance you are that. And you have to ask yourself, are you happy? Now, the point of happiness and how it links to material world is that it is somehow the happiness is like a magnet, like one of the biggest magnet. That's what I have learned from different spiritual lessons, different philosophical lessons, and how you put them in modern world. That when you're happy, when a person is happy, it shows in their work, and mostly people want to work with you. And right now we live in a generation where even if you have the highest IQ or highest financial education, to become rich and wealthy, you need to have a very good EQ, your emotional intelligence. Like there is actually a study around it, that when they tested all the rich people and all, they found out that most of the rich people were higher in EQ. So that's where happiness comes in, that when you're just a happy person, people just want to be around you, just want to work with you. And that's where why it's important to start working on your happiness in the start of your journey or in the middle of the journey. Don't wait that, okay, I'll actually achieve these things and then I'll work on the happiness. If you want to achieve those things and want to make that path a little more easier and a little more fun, then this is actually the way. Like there is this Naval's quote that you are born, you experience some sensory experiences, and then you die. And this is like point A, point B, and this middle is the life. And like in this middle, the sensory experiences is something that you control. And happiness is usually achieved when you try for it. Like you cannot just be like, okay, there are happy moments, there are sad moments, I'll live both. It's not like that. There are things that you can do, and you have to figure out on how to do it. uh, I personally am in that journey. I'm personally working very hard to not only towards the material side of things, but also towards the happiness side of things. And the more I achieve in the, like there is another saying that if you have won the inner world, that the external world will be at your feet. And that is very much true. Like I feel that a lot of this manifestation, a lot of this positive thinking, a lot of this, when the crisis comes and you are the one who's calm as a cucumber, which makes even the person who's giving you crisis calm. So that's something that is around that. And one thing, over the period of time, after reading so many different books about happiness, is that happiness is kind of built on peace. Like you cannot always be happy. There will never be a person, I mean, people say that if you achieve enlightenment, you will always be in a happy state. But I'm not sure. Like I haven't met one on one someone who says that they are the enlightened being. But happiness is built on peace. Like when you're peaceful, you can be happy by choice. One of the things which I have heard, that someone who's peaceful if they are brushing their teeth, instead of brushing like this, they move their face like this, and it's a happy moment for them. They are just happy. They can create happiness whenever they want or whenever they feel like. It's like how you can scroll reels and create a dopamine or a pleasure. For them, it's that easy. And that's why it's important to learn, like, what are the skills that are required for happiness. One thing which I personally am struggling through, and someone who goes through it on daily basis and try their level best, is that the more you live in the past, the more regrets you have. Like, if you are someone who looks things like, like, okay, I am someone who's thinking about a lot of things, could have, like, I should have done that, or shoot, I should have done that, or this, I should have said that, and all. So that person is always living in regret. And most people are living either in these two stages, either in regret, or they are living in future. So in future, when you are living, you're generally a anxious person. I go towards the future side, like, things make me anxious, that a lot of things in my mind makes me think about future. And one of the stupidest thing that even biology have proven, that your mind is rigged towards, it can feel the pain of the future right now, but it can only feel happiness in present. So when we know that happiness isn't present, then what are we doing about it? Like, you go back, close your eyes, and think of the happiest last three happiest moments in last 3 months, and you'll realize that there are few things that's gonna be common. That uh, to be truly happy, there weren't many screens present. You weren't scrolling. You weren't watching a movie and all. Though, why do we love watching a movie or being on a screen and having this low dopamine and all? Because this is when you are actually in present, like, you are really in present. And if you think of the intense happy moments, it was you being in present, whether you were playing a sport or playing with friends, or imagine you without technology as a child. And when we used to go out and play, like, keeping phones aside and all, and play, we were happy. Like, in general, we were happy as a person. So that's what's the definition. Like, how do you be in present, do things, and not go ahead and feel unhappy, like, not go ahead and I, it's hard to explain, but not, you're not scrolling, because when you're scrolling or playing a video game, you're still in present technically. But that's what, like, the technology is like gambling machine. Like, that there is this I forgot the name of that machine, where you pull the lever and it keeps going, and then you have to pull the lever again to feel that dopamine, because the moment you stop pulling that lever, you go either in future or in present, and you have to pull that lever again and again. Like, people play that game in casino, six machines at a time, so that they don't feel anything. They don't feel the future or the past. How do you feel things in present? So my favorite moments will have a lot more than my wife present. Like, my wife is there, but there are multiple people. We are either having a deep conversation, and sometimes our body is moving, like we are playing a pickleball, basketball, or something like that. Or I won't say that okay, alcohol or anything, but yeah, like, you drinking and not touching your phone, and having fun and talking deep shit and all those things. That's what comes down to. Like, that's what it comes down to. And that's why it's important to think about it, like, what can you do to stay happy, and how do you build so much peace in your life that you are able to build happiness above it. And like, one of the reasons I am creating these videos, like, you must be saying, if you are so happy, that why are you creating these content and all. I'm not. Like, I go through those anxieties, I go through my pain, my side of suffering. And this is the, like, someday we can discuss on identities, but this is the thing with identities. Like, if you have taken an identity of an athlete, you will keep yourself fit because that's now your identity. If you take up a positive identity of someone who works a lot or a workaholic, you will work a lot. And someone who takes up an identity of someone who reads a lot, you will end up, fulfilling that identity. So I'm trying to take up an identity of someone who's peaceful and happy, and I want to see what happens to me then. Like, what will happen if I, the more Naval has this Naval Ravikant, one of my favorite modern day thinkers, thought leaders, or philosophers. He has this thing where he says that, the tweets I do, it's not me, but sometimes you end up listening to your own advices. So sometimes his old tweets come back to him and all those things. And sometimes when he's giving his own advice, that day he feel like, am I living my own advice? And that's what I'm going through. Like, I know a lot of these things because I'm researching and reading a lot of these things, but when I'm talking out loud, a lot of problems in my head is being solved. That's where reading, or that's where writing also comes in. That when you give advice, or sometimes when you're in a problem, try doing this thing, that try giving yourself an advice. What is the ideal advice you would give to someone else if they come up with this problem to you? And you'll understand that sometimes you listen to your own advice, and that's all you need. You actually don't need a lot of external advices. So yeah, I mean, that's what I feel about happiness, that you need to start optimizing your life no matter where you are in your journey of material world. You need to start optimizing your life for happiness, and the journey of material world will become easier. That I can assure you, that because universe, not only universe, let's not even talk spiritual things, but mm, even the normal world, uh, normal world uh, gives you things in return when you are generous. Normal world gives you things in return. They, people return the favor. Like, I don't know, people just return the favor. And when you approach the world with so much of love, intensity, and happiness, intense happiness, it comes back to you. And that's the kind of people want to work with. And that's how, like, you make the connections in the entrepreneurial world and all, everything. So yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to talk about today. And last few comments motivated me to just once in a while sit in a front of a camera and just make these videos. It might help someone. If it doesn't, it's there is this saying that when you write something, it might not help the reader, but it definitely will help the writer. So it's like that. So it might help the someone who's listening on the other side, someone who's right now in that anxious mood and listening to this at 1.5x, and it might help that person, but it definitely will help me. So that's what, like, the ROI, the return on investment on this is pretty good. So yeah, I think I'll see you when I see you.